Hello and welcome to CATEX-TV. I'm Tom Bain in London. It's 4:30 PM in London, 11:30 Eastern Time and 12:30 in Bermuda. Today in history. Today in 1883, the island of Krakatoa, west of Java, exploded with a force of 1,300 megatons of TNT. And today in 1979, the Earl Mountbatten, the uncle of the Duke of Edinburgh, the Queen's husband, and a British Admiral of the Fleet, was assassinated by the IRA. And now to the news. In what many commentators are calling inflammatory language, Iran's defense minister has said his country is prepared to sell weapons to Lebanon should it ask for help to equip its military. General Ahmad Vadi said yesterday Lebanon is our friend and that Iran is ready to offer military aid. He was quoted by the official Iran news agency saying, "If there is a demand in this respect, we are ready to equip that country and conduct weapon transactions with it." His comments came a day after Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah, the Hezbollah leader, proposed the Lebanese government formally seek military assistance from Iran. Nasrallah vowed in a televised speech on Tuesday that his Iranian-backed group could help secure aid for Lebanon's poorly equipped army. He said, "I vow that Hezbollah will work fervently and capitalize on its friendship with Iran to ensure it helps arm the Lebanese military in any way that it can." In Washington, Mark Toner, the U.S. State Department spokesman, said the possibility of Iranian arms sales to Lebanon underscore the importance both to our national security and the security of the region to continue with our security assistance to the Lebanese army. Toner said a review of the aid program to Lebanon is underway and that we hope to conclude that as soon as possible and renew assistance. The Lebanese army is still seen as under-equipped compared to Hezbollah. And now looking at storm news. Well, we're now in the midst of the hurricane season, and appropriately we have an Atlantic hurricane. Hurricane Danielle is currently a Category 3 hurricane with sustained winds of 105 knots. It's forecast to strengthen in the next 24 hours to a Category 4 hurricane with sustained winds of 115 knots. It's currently in the, as you'll see from the chart, it's currently in the mid-Atlantic, heading towards Bermuda, but it's forecast to sort of veer off to the northeast before it gets to Bermuda, though Bermuda will endure some bad weather based on that. We have Tropical Storm Earl is developing in the Eastern Atlantic. The Eastern Atlantic is, of course, the breeding ground for hurricanes and tropical storms. Tropical Storm Earl currently has sustained winds of 40 knots. Forecast over the next 24 hours to remain a tropical storm but strengthen slightly to 45 knots. And its current track is a little uncertain. I think the prediction at the moment looks as if it's forecast to veer northwards before reaching the Caribbean Sea, but clearly anything is possible at this stage. And finally, Hurricane Frank is still a Category 1 hurricane. Sustained winds of 75 knots. Currently still tracking up the eastern seaboard. The eastern Pacific seaboard. A forecast to start weakening in the next 24 hours down to 60 knots. We'll keep an eye on that as things develop. The tropical storm Mandela, which we were tracking in the western Pacific, has struck Vietnam, killing 4 people and leaving another 10 people missing. It hit north-central Vietnam on Tuesday, injuring a further 20 people and causing tens of thousands of people to be evacuated from vulnerable coastal villages, the National Floods and Storm Control Committee of Vietnam said. Missing people are members of a fishing boat crew that disappeared when searching for a safe haven, according to disaster official in the central Da Nang city. Rescue workers are currently searching for those crew members. An estimated 74,000 people residing in high-risk coastal areas were evacuated before the storm hit the Ngay province. Officials in Ha Tinh province, south of Ngay An, said more than 14,000 people have been evacuated from coastal villages. In total, 4,000 homes have been damaged and 62,000 acres of rice fields have been flooded, according to the government. Meteorologists have said that Mandela will now dissipate, and it's just really been downgraded to a depression. The European Union antitrust regulators said yesterday that they are investigating whether deals made by companies in the marine insurance industry were blocking rivals in breach of European competition rules. The European Commission, the antitrust authority of the 27-country EU, said the investigation would examine claims sharing and joint reinsurance agreements. It did not identify any companies involved in the sector. The EU executive said in the statement the condition fears that provisions at stake in the agreements between the protection and indemnity clubs, known as P&I clubs, within the international group of P&I clubs, the IG, may harm ship owners and the insurers that are not members of the IG. It said the probe was launched at its own initiative. P&I clubs, which are mutual non-profit making associations, provide protection and indemnity insurance to their members, which are also ship owners. The IG, which has 13 P&I clubs, insures about 93% of the world's ocean-going tonnage, according to the Commission. Now, Russia, with its recent forest fires, has lost forests with an economic value of at least $300 billion during the wildfires, which took place during the worst heat wave on record. The economic damage amounted to $25,000 a hectare, or at least $300 billion, according to estimates based on the market value of timber and the cost of restoration. This was according to Alexei Zimenko, the Director General of the Moscow-based Biodiversity Conservation Center. Zimenko told a press conference, "These figures are completely astronomical," adding those did not include several factors, including the loss of wildlife like insects, rare birds and animals. According to Russian environmentalists citing data from the Global Fire Monitoring Center, the fires have covered an area of 10 million to 12 million hectares in Russia since the start of the year. However, the government's emergency ministry says that nearly 29,500 fires covering a total area of 935,286 hectares have been registered in the country this year. According to Marsh, terrorism insurance rates could rocket and coverage would become hard to obtain for the most vulnerable areas if the US government discontinues its terrorism insurance backstop. That is the view of the leading brokers at Marsh. Marsh has expressed its view in a letter to the President's Working Group on Financial Markets. The Terrorism Risk Insurance Act, TRIA, was introduced in 2001 after September the 11th terrorist attacks on New York and Washington, D.C. Through the end of 2005, federal aid under TRIA was to be triggered when insured losses exceed $5 million. The trigger level was raised to $50 million in 2006 and $100 million in 2007. President George W. Bush signed a 7-year extension of TRIA 5 days before it was due to expire at the end of 2007. Marsh, along with fellow Marsh and McClellan operating company Guy Carpenter, submitted the comments earlier this month in response to a request for industry opinion on the availability and affordability of terrorism cover. Volkswagen Financial Services, which is part of the German Volkswagen car manufacturing group, has confirmed plans to operate its guarantee insurance business in the future through its subsidiary Volkswagen Reinsurance AG as a direct or primary insurer. It added the necessary license to do so will shortly be applied for from the German Federal Supervisory Authority. The company Volkswagen Reinsurance AG and its statutes will be adapted accordingly to the new business function. Starting on the 1st of January 2011, the direct insurer is to act as a partner to Volkswagen Versicherungsdienstleistung for the guarantee business domain. Frank Witter, chairman of the board of management of Volkswagen Financial Services, said the insurance business is an elementary component of our automobile financial services strategy. With our entry into direct insurance for guarantee business, we're enhancing our service and performance for the customer and are positioning ourselves in a dynamic growth market in our capacity as a sales promoter for Volkswagen Group brands. And finally today, The mysterious series of accidents to blight owners of the Ferrari 458 Italia has continued as an 11th vehicle was destroyed by fire. A total of 11 models have been wrecked by a mysterious jinx since it was launched 3 months ago. 6 have crashed and 5 were ruined by fire, while there is no suggestion of a fault with the £170,000 supercars. An unusually large number of the vehicles have been seriously damaged since the model was launched 3 months ago. The blaze that you're seeing here happened at the bottom of a hill in the outskirts of Ningbo on China's eastern coast, and a video of it was uploaded on YouTube on Monday. It's the 4th 458 to burst into flames in just 6 weeks, while a 5th was wrecked in a warehouse fire at Heathrow Airport in London. A total of 11 models have been wrecked by a mysterious jinx since it was launched 3 months ago. The first crash occurred in Poland on May the 20th, when the driver, thought to be in his late 20s, swerved to avoid a bus, veering into a Volkswagen family saloon and suffering frontal damage. In July, a customised 458, which featured a £65,000 Dolce & Gabbana interior, was wrecked in a warehouse blaze at Heathrow Airport after being flown in from Saudi Arabia. The owner of the Ferrari, a 21-year-old Diana El Essa, was flying the car to Britain for his annual summer holiday, where he drives across Europe. He said that he'd only owned the supercar for 2 weeks. He said, "It's an unlucky car. I drove it in Riyadh for 1 day, and by the second day I'd taken it back to the dealer because of heating problems." Well, that's all from us today. We'll be back with you at the same time on Monday. Until then, thank you very much and have a very good